Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can tell by the caption of the video, I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to do an acrylic soak off. So before we get into the tutorial, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. This is going to be a rather quick video just because, as you can see, some of her nails are already off. She's had these on for about 2 months, probably a little bit over that, so it's definitely time for a new set. She went ahead and started to try to take them off at home, which is why she's missing a few, but there's still enough for us to do a little soak off. It's the same regardless of how many nails are on there. So I like to start by pushing the cuticles back, and then after that, normally I have a nail clipper, like the typical one that you normally see when you cut down nails when you're applying the tips to make them a certain length. But I recently moved into my new salon and I threw my old one away and forgot to order a new one. So no big deal. You can also just use your drill bit, as you see I'm doing here. I'm just going in and shortening the nails, taking off all the excess. You want to be careful because with this client, she does have like a lot of undergrowth underneath her nails, so you want to make sure. Sometimes a client's skin can be still attached to that, and that's the case in this client. So you do want to be careful with that, but you do want to try to just take off as much nail as you can, only because the more nail, the more you're going to have to soak off. So it's a lot quicker and a lot smoother if you take off as much as you can and leave on only what you absolutely have to soak off. So now, after shortening them to the shortest that I could get them, you just want to go back in and slightly take off any polish, any top coat, anything other than the acrylic, just because, like I said, the more that you leave on there, the more you're going to have to soak off. So it can be more time consuming or take longer. You might have to do a little bit more. So it's just easier and better to just work with as little as possible. So I also, you don't have to do this step too much, what I'm about to recommend, but I also like to recommend, going over the nail a little bit more than just taking off the polish or the top coat or whatever the case may be, because same thing, if you can take off more, it'll make the whole process go quicker and it'll be a lot easier. So, just remember though, when doing this step, you do not want to apply too much pressure, and you want to make sure that you're keeping that file moving, ladies, because it will cause friction and that will cause heat, and that will definitely burn your client, which is no fun. So you do want to just make sure that you're careful when taking off that excess. So now you just want to put your client's hand in some acetone, just their fingers, of course. I got my bowl off Amazon. It was super cheap and it came in a set of two, so definitely check that out if you're needing one. So I like to let the nails sit for about 20 minutes before going in and scraping any excess off. So I'm just using an old cuticle pusher, and literally right out of the acetone, I am just scraping this excess stuff off. Excess acrylic off. Ladies, if the acrylic does not look like this, it's no good. Okay, so sometimes shops, or I've never heard of a nail tech using them, but sometimes a lot of shops like to use illegal acrylic, and when it soaks off, it will look more gummy or more wet, slimy, I guess I should say, rather than like crumbled up and broken, as you could see that this acrylic did. So yeah, you just want to scrape off as much as you can, and then I'm going back in with that same drill bit, and I'm just carefully running over the nail to get some, a little bit more excess off. Nothing too major though, because you don't, like I said, now that we have most of the acrylic off, you are working really, really close to that natural nail, and it is a lot easier to burn your client, in this stage rather than when you had all of the acrylic on. So you do just want to be super careful. I'm going to keep saying that because I have been burned before and it is no fun, you guys. So yeah, you definitely just want to be careful. Now, sometimes it happened on the other hand, but I didn't film on the other hand. But sometimes when once you let the acrylic soak for so long and you do get to this step where you start to file, sometimes that acrylic will just completely pop off because it has lifted so much and like loosened to the point it just kind of pops off. So if that happens, that's okay. That's normal. There's nothing to worry about there. So yeah, after doing that, I just like to let them go back in and soak for another about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on, you know, how much acrylic is left. And then I just do the same process of scraping everything off, or as much as I can get off, and then going back in with the same file and filing them down. And overall, you guys, this normally takes me about, I would say about 30 minutes, maybe 40. It really just depends because sometimes people have like newer nails than old. Sometimes people have a lot of stuff encapsulated, which does take time. Sometimes people, you know, there's just a lot of different things that could come into play with this. But normally, overall, it takes just about 30 to 40 minutes at most. So yeah, I do like to make sure that I like, typically if this was a client that wasn't getting a set right after this, I would have, you know, gave her like a mini manicure as far as like clipping her cuticles and everything like that. But she's actually getting a full set right after this, so I kind of saved that for my next video. But yeah, so as you can see, most of the acrylic, if not all of it, is off at this point. And so I'm just going back in one last time with my file to just get any little bits of spots that could be left. And yeah, so this is a really, really easy process, you guys. It's just kind of time consuming. I'm sorry. And you just, you know, have to make sure that you're being careful. But other than that, it's pretty simple. Yeah, so I am going to file down her nails just because, like I said, she's getting a full set right after this, so I might as well just go ahead and do some of the steps anyways. But aside from the full set, typically, like I mentioned, if say she wasn't getting a full set, she was just someone coming to get a soak off, I would have did the soak off. I would have filed her nails down evenly, nice and evenly, and I would have clipped her cuticles, you know, just like a mini manicure for her to leave out with, you know, nicer looking nails. um as you heard me mention, she has like skin that her nails are so grown out from the set, and so her skin kind of like grew with it. And so that's why, if you're wondering why I'm like lifting the fingers up to see underneath, I just would rather, I'm trying to clip down as much nail as I can, but of course I do not want to nip her skin, you guys. Oh my god, that has happened to me before. It's like so uncomfortable, just thinking about it is making me cringe so bad. So yeah, I'm just, oh, gotta make sure I'm avoiding that at all costs. So yeah, I'm just gonna file down the rest of her nails. And typically, if this was a client that wasn't getting a full set immediately after, I would have, like I already said, make them really nice and even and the same shape overall. But because she's getting a full set right after this, I'm just going to file them down as much as they need to be, and not really focus on the shape. But yeah, so now I'm just going to go in with my sanding band over top of the natural nail. Now this is just going to be a quick, simple step. I just like to do this to get any, you know, last bit of anything and everything off of the natural nail. And typically, if this was a client that was not getting a full set afterwards, I would have applied a gel top coat, well, a gel base coat and a gel top coat, just clear unless they wanted color, and I would have, you know, sent her on her way. But again, she's getting a full set right after this, so I'm just kind of doing some of the steps that I need to do for the full set anyways. I know I keep saying that, you guys, but I just wanted to throw that in there because I don't want anybody like watching this and being like, oh well, why didn't you do this, why didn't you do that, you know, just as a kind of side note, I guess, that I'm not skipping over anything or forgetting anything or doing any extra. It's just because of the fact that she's getting a full set, which I actually am going to be posting that video just of a basic full set. So if you want to see that, it is up right now. It's going to be uploaded right after this video actually. So yeah, go tune into that. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I probably will do a few more of these just so you can see them with the full blown set of nails. But yeah, this is the finished result. This is how it should look. Nice and no dents, no damage. Nice and clean, ready for a new set, period. So yeah, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and see you next time.